Today we're going to show you how to make a banana split.
And would you believe it? It's going to have bananas in it, all right, but there's not going to be any dairy ice cream, and it's still going to be delicious, cool, and refreshing.
So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hi, we want to welcome you to Food for Thought. My name is Audrey, and these are my two sisters, Trishonna and Emberly, and we're the Benton Sisters.
Did you know that there's a wonderful promise for us in Exodus concerning our health? You will find it in Exodus 15, verses 26, which says, "If you will diligently heed the voice of the Lord your God, and will do what is right in his sight, and will give ear to all his commandments, and keep his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon you, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord which heals thee." When they did some studies of the Egyptians back during the Israelites' time, they discovered that they had many of the diseases that we as Americans suffer with today: obesity and diabetes and heart disease and hardening of the arteries and other problems. And God is a little God that heals us, and so he has some standards for us to follow. And there is a diet plan out there of food to eat and a lifestyle to live, plenty of water, exercise, sunlight, temperance, and trusting divine power. All these, there's actually 10 of them that help make up a healthy lifestyle that we can live. And God will bless us when we follow his principles and eat the food that he has designed for us. And he will keep us from having the typical American diseases. It's a promise. We can claim it. And so, isn't that exciting? So today we're excited to share with you some wonderful healthy desserts. I believe God has a sweet tooth, don't you?
Yes.
And so what are we going to start with right now?
Okay, we're going to read off the recipe, and this recipe is called Carob Cappuccino. And you need 2 teaspoons of vanilla flavoring, 2 teaspoons of maple extract, half of a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of Ames kosher gel, 1 cup of raw cashews, 2 cups of boiling water, 1 1/4 cup of sucanat, and that's just evaporated cane juice, and it's not refined, 1 can of coconut milk or non-dairy milk, 1 pack of firm tofu, and 1/3 cup of carob powder, and 1/3 cup of Roma coffee substitute. So let's go ahead and just add these to the blender. And we'll go ahead and add our cashews. And we're using cashew butter. And if you use cashew butter, you want, it calls for 1 cup of cashews, so you want 1/2 cup of butter. Okay? And we're just using cashew butter to shorten the blending time. But we usually use raw cashews, and you want to make sure you wash them really good. And when you add the cashews to the blender, it usually takes about a minute to blend because you want it to be fattening smooth. We're going to go ahead and add our carob. And we're going to add our Ames. And this is a tablespoon of Ames.
Yeah, the sucanat.
And sucanat. Sucanat you can find at the health food store, all of it. And sucanat has delicious flavor. It's an excellent replacer for brown sugar. And it tastes so good, and it's not refined. So that's cool. And then we're going to add our water. And we need just a cup of water. It says 2 cups of water, boiling water. So we'll just go ahead and add a cup.
Now this is Carob Cappuccino Ice Cream, you said? You know, there's so much wonderful qualities of carob. It actually helps to aid in digestion, and it's high in calcium and naturally sweet, which is much better for us than chocolate. Chocolate is naturally bitter, and so they have to add extra sweetener to make it sweet. Plus, it has methyl xanthines and also caffeine, which is bad for your body and causes degenerative diseases to occur in your body because of the harmful effects that these products in the chocolate itself have. And so carob is a wonderful soft substitute. I think it's God sent.
Well, I'm thankful for an alternative.
Definitely.
Okay, we'll just go ahead and blend that.
Okay.
And you usually want to blend it for about a minute. Okay, and then we didn't add aroma yet, but we can go ahead and add aroma. And aroma is coffee substitute, and it gives a really delicious flavor.
How much is
And
this?
show them what the bottle looks like. And you can find that in most grocery stores.
Okay, so how much does it call for?
A third of a cup. Just go ahead and dump all that in there.
All right.
And then we'll add just a little bit of vanilla. And then a maple flavoring gives a really good, delicious flavor. And it was just a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 teaspoons of maple flavoring.
You can open it. You want to try that one?
And then go ahead and add the coconut milk.
Okay.
Coconut milk, you should be able to find it in the Oriental section in your grocery store.
And this is coconut milk with no sugar in it. Just plain coconut milk, right? And this is what the can looks like. Want to get a close-up on that?
It really doesn't matter the kind of can you have. There's probably over 50 different brands of coconut milk out there. What you want to look for, though, is if it has any preservatives in it, you may not want to have the preservatives in your coconut milk. And also, sometimes they add water to it. So then they say it's less fat. But why not have the regular coconut itself and add water to it yourself and make it so it's less fat? And I think it's about the same price, whether you buy it with them adding water or if you buy the pure coconut itself. And so basically you just want to look for that it doesn't have the sugar in it. It's just plain coconut.
Okay, and then you just add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you can add 1 carton of morning tofu or another can of coconut milk to this.
Okay.
So total either 2 cans of coconut milk or 1 can of coconut milk and tofu. And then you just blend it.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, and we just need to add a carton of morning tofu, and this is what it looks like for those that aren't familiar with what it looks like. And you can find it in your grocery store in the produce section. And you can add 1 carton of morning tofu, or you can go ahead and add another can of coconut milk.
Okay, so those who are concerned about the fat and want to have less fat, morinu tofu would be fine.
But this is natural fat.
Right. And then coconut milk makes it. Do they taste the same? Is there any difference?
Tastes good. It might have a little bit more coconut flavor, but I don't notice it. I like it.
All right.
Okay, now we'll try it. And whiz, this is
That's awfully full.
Sure this works?
We'll
Okay.
see.
Hang on here.
You know what, and the Ames gelatin that we add to this mixture will help it to set up a little bit so that way it won't be really icy. And so it will be more like the regular texture of ice cream.
All right.
And did
now
we talk about Ames?
Ames is a replacement for Knox gelatin. Yeah, and you can use it in jellos and or cheeses and stuff. Now this time you could put it in an ice cream maker, right?
Yes, in an ice cream maker.
Or an ice cube trays.
Or you can put it in ice cube trays, or you can even put it into a baking dish. And you put the baking dish in the freezer. When it's frozen, then you cut it up into cubes. Or pour it into ice cube trays. When it's frozen, then you just dump out the cubes, and you have the cubes. And you can send it through the Champion juicer, which we're going to show you in a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to put this in the freezer then, okay?
Or you can take those cubes and you can melt them slightly and then blend them up in your blender, and you have a delicious soft serve that works really good if you don't have a Champion juicer or if you don't have an ice cream machine, ice cream maker.
So either way, you can make this recipe and turn out
No matter what you have, so that's cool.
That's nice. what are you going to show us?
Okay, I have some toppings here. In this bowl, I have raspberry concentrate, and I just dumped it in here, already mixed up to save time with the cornstarch. So I mixed it together, and we're going to just thicken it up. And this raspberry concentrate is just that juice concentrate, you know, concentrate you find in the freezer that you mix up with water to have juice. Well, I just took the whole can of concentrate and I dumped it in this bowl, this kettle.
And how much cornstarch did you add to it?
And 1 can of concentrate and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
So that would make a wonderful glaze for ice cream without added sugar.
There's no sugar.
And you don't have to worry about dyes for all the coloring added to your ice cream.
So you just make sure that your concentrate doesn't have any sugar in it, because some concentrates have sugar in it.
Okay.
So it's just a can of concentrate and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Very easy. And we're turning it on here, thickening it up. And another topping we're going to have over here is our carob chips. And these are non-dairy carob chips. And we're going to turn that on low. And do you have a spoon for me over there?
Sure.
And I'm just going to add 1/3 of a cup of milk to it. So make sure you write this down.
Now also, you got to be careful when you buy your carob chips in regular grocery stores. Sometimes they have the carob chips in there, and in a bag, and they have a lot of fat added to them. Now, if you can find a health food store that carries carob chips that don't have all the extra fat added to them, you're doing pretty good. Actually, it's really easy to find.
Make sure
you just got to be aware that it is out there. A lot of people say, well, you know, when you consider the fat in the carob chips versus the fat in the chocolate chips, there's basically no difference. They're the same, but you can find them where they have carob chips without all that
And we like to have the malt sweetened kind without having
all the sugar.
Because you can get a malt sweetened.
Or date sweetened, either way, which are really good.
So what we're making over here is carob syrup, and we're making strawberry syrup. So when this is strawberries thickened up, we'll add our strawberries.
Are we making a sundae here?
And when our carob syrup, you want to melt your carob on a very low setting, and you got to be very patient with it. Otherwise, it will get, if the setting's too hot, it will instantly gum up and get burnt-like, and it won't.
It gets really dry too.
It won't be nice and syrupy. It gets very dry.
So the key is slow and
melting
patience with it.
So we're just going to let these do its thing over here, and let's go ahead and
do we need the champion juicer
make
out?
the ice cream sundae. Okay, go ahead and get the champion. For the ice cream sundae, this is a vanilla ice cream recipe, and make sure you have your pencil and your paper. You need 2 cups of water boiling, 1 cup of cashews raw, 2 tablespoons of Ames kosher gelatin, and 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 4 teaspoons of vanilla. So, and you just also need 1 can of coconut milk, 1 cup of clear honey. This is a mild flavor honey, and 1 package of morning tofu. So you just take all those ingredients and you blend them up in the blender, just like how we showed you how to do the Carob Cappuccino recipe. Make sure your water's hot so that way your Ames gelatin will activate. Blend it up, pour it into your ice cube trays or in your machine or whatever.
Just like the previous recipe.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and get the champion juicer out.
But let's have Julius, Audrey's husband, come in and help us demonstrate that.
Okay, sounds good.
We need some muscles to bring that machine over here, and so we'll have him come in at this time.
And now, as he's bringing that over, I have our sauces already ready to go here, and we're going to just add our strawberries to our sauce here. And mix them up. Okay, first we're going to send through the vanilla ice cream recipe, and we'll go ahead and turn it this way so they can see. And we have our cubes here, and I just chopped these cubes up, and you can also use the trays. And were you going to send these through for me? Yeah, I want you to send these through for me. And it's plugged in. Okay. This champion juicer is wonderful. It does all different kinds of things. Makes good juice, too. that looks good.
You also can do frozen fruit, like strawberries and bananas, or you can use any type of fruit, actually. And strawberries make it really nice and pretty pink, and the bananas make it nice and creamy and sweet.
Should we send some through, just so they can see what it looks like?
Okay, give it some.
It's hard to believe that strawberries and bananas can actually come through smooth. So go ahead and send some through.
Okay.
And there's the strawberry with the banana. And you can also do any kind of frozen fruit. You can do blueberries, you can do boysenberries or raspberries, and that looks good. And then we want to show you, we want to show you the Carob Cappuccino. So we're going to go ahead and switch bowls and let you send the Carob Cappuccino one through. Go ahead and put some. We'll get the rest of the strawberry out in this bowl, and then we'll switch real quick. Get that here.
Did you know there's about 1,200 different chemical additives added to commercial made ice cream?
Really?
Yes, they come in the form of flavorings and colorings, and as well as emulsifiers, so they're not hard rock, so we keep them soft, like soft freeze and stuff like that. And making your own ice cream at home is much better, especially if you can find a recipe that doesn't have any dairy products in it, because we don't want
no oil.
No oil either. And look at this. We're working on our banana split, believe it or not. All these ice creams, and these are just a few of the ice creams that we have invented. We have here in our little tray, banana down the center, and then colored apples. And apples are so nutritious. In fact, apples have estrogen elements in them, which are very beneficial for our health as women. And so we want to make sure we have, here we're getting close to our daily allowance of 5 servings of apple a day.
Okay, here we have our 3 colors, our vanilla, our Carob Cappuccino, and our banana and strawberry. Don't they look good? Mm-hmm. And we'll go ahead and put the strawberry one in the center. And this one's marbled looking strawberry and banana. Doesn't that look pretty marbled like that?
And we put our vanilla, this is vanilla, right? The side there.
And then you can put the Carob Cappuccino on the other side. I think that looks so pretty marbled like that.
Okay, let's get this
And then
on
we
there.
just go ahead and put our syrups on it. And as we finish doing up, putting the syrups and stuff on it, let's see.
Let's put some mint on there, too.
We'll just go put some strawberry across like that. Doesn't that look good? And a little bit of carob syrup and nuts. Oh, and we can't forget the cherries.
Cherry on top. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle the nuts on here. Oh, Trishonna, is your mouth watering yet?
Yeah.
I hear you swallowing over there.
Man, I know what I'm having when we're done here.
Okay, now these cherries here are just for looks. They're just,
And here, let me put some whipping cream first real quick. This is some non-dairy whipped cream that you can actually make yourself from our recipes. And we're going to put the cherry on top.
I got one on each one, okay? Like that. Oh, yum.
Doesn't that look scrumptious?
That looks good. Now it's going
Wow.
to start melting. So
And you know, let me read off. I want to show you another recipe that I made up just for you. A couple days ago, we decided to put this one together. And this one's called the Brownie Cake. You need 2/3 cups of whole wheat pastry flour and half of a teaspoon of salt, 1/3 of a cup of honey, 1/3 of a cup of sucanat, or you can use date sugar, and 3/4 of a cup of non-dairy milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, half of a cup of carob powder. And you also need 1 cup of nuts chopped, 1 tablespoon aroma, and this is coffee substitute, 1 tablespoon of energy baking powder. Now tell us, Trishonna, why are we using energy baking powder?
Energy baking powder is, well, let's tell you, a long time ago, well, for us it was a long time ago, it was a couple years back when we first started doing cooking schools and switching over to the healthy way. I think it was about 4 years ago, to be exact. We were trying to make healthy cookies without any of the bad ingredients. And what are the typical ingredients in a cookie? White flour, sugar, eggs, milk, and probably chocolate and different things like that. And we had made it without those things, but we didn't switch the baking powders. And someone said, you can't make a healthy baking cookie if you use regular baking powder. We studied into baking powder and discovered that it is harmful in the lining of your stomach and actually can leave salt residues in your body in the same exact weight of the baking powder that you added to your cookies or whatever you're making. And also, it could demineralize your bone, which we want to have strong bones, and we're faced with osteoporosis, don't want to have that problem. And so we studied out what we could do and if there was any way to get around this. We tried making yeast cookies, that didn't work, and different things like that. Remember, Audrey?
Yeah,
we had cookies coming out our ears, didn't we? And then we discovered that energy food baking powder is the only one that doesn't have those bad ingredients that we need for making it rise. And it's moisture activated, works a little different. I think it takes a tablespoon of this to a teaspoon of the regular baking powder. That way we can still have our cookies and not have to worry about the harmful effects of the baking powder that comes from conventional baking powders.
That's cool. And so the recipe, you just have the dry ingredients in one bowl, the wet ingredients in another bowl. You mix them together, and you have your oven already hot up to 400, and you mix them together, pour them into your springform pan. You want to use the 8-inch, and you just bake it for 5 minutes on 400, turn it down to 350 for about 30 minutes. So it's just baking it like a regular cake.
Are you going to show us how to cut this?
And this is in a springform pan. This is the vanilla ice cream recipe with raspberry. Vanilla ice cream with the Carob recipe we just gave you.
There's a bigger knife you should
with
need it.
raspberries in the ice cream.
Oh, I mean, it looks so good.
And we just layered it in the springform pan. And it's kind of hard because it's frozen. So you kind of get the idea by looking of how we did it. And then you just scoop this out here. See if I can scoop it out
You
here.
know, mint. I discovered some good information about mint. Mint is a relaxant to muscles, especially the digestive tract, and stimulates the flow of bile, and also helps digestive inflammation and colitis and other similar complications. Oh, that looks so good.
Isn't that beautiful?
And did you know that mint is also good for nausea and travel sickness?
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, so mint is really good for you.
I want to show them how to make a root beer float.
Well, we have a little bit more time. Let's do that real quick.
Because I'm really interested in this one.
What kind of root beer do you have over here?
We have some old-fashioned root beer that's made without any of the bad products in it. It's really healthy kind. You can get the health food store.
You want to open it up here?
And read the ingredients off. They're pretty good. They might be interested in seeing the ingredients.
Okay, the ingredients is sparkling water and fructose, molasses, and our own natural flavorings, herbs, extract, and essential oils. So, and nutmeg. And so it's pretty good for you.
Okay, let's go ahead and pour that over the top. And then and what's wrong with the regular root beer? Why are we using this kind?
Well, the other kinds have too much sugar in them, and they have a lot of phosphoric acid, which etches your bones and can demineralize them. If you put on marble, it will etch it. If you put on if you put on bones, it will etch it. I mean, demineralize it. With osteoporosis, you don't want to deal with that, do you?
Right.
That's right.
You know, and back to the cake. We're going to show you how to make the cake on another program.
Oh, good.
So we have a lot of wonderful desserts.
The brownie cake.
Isn't this exciting? You got root beer float, and what do you call this, Emberly?
Well, it's brand new, so
You haven't had a name for it yet, huh?
strawberry ice cream brownie cake, I guess, or something. We'll think of something. We just made it brand new just for you, so.
Isn't that beautiful?
Can you believe it? It's dairy-free, sugar-free, cholesterol-free.
Fat-free.
Wow.
Refined fat-free, that is. And
Does it taste free, too?
taste-free. We'll have to do a taste test, huh?
Just like your old favorite.
Without those bad ingredients. And it's so exciting to know that God has promised us that if we will follow His statutes and keep His commandments, eat His food He has created for us, He will not let any of these diseases fall upon us. This is something you can create and enjoy and realize that you're giving your family something that is best for their heart and serving it with the words, I love you, all over your food. And so enjoy cooking in your kitchen and making healthy food for your family. May God bless you. Till next time.